Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome to lesson 6 of this beginner yoga series. My name is Claudia from Yoga for Everybody, and in today's class we will be looking at some of the foundation seated yoga poses. So we won't be doing anything standing up. We will give our shoulders and wrists a bit of a break, and we'll do all the poses sitting down on the mat. So in terms of props, you might want to grab a couple of blocks or a pillow or a blanket or something that you can use to prop yourself up if you need to. So I'm using my daughter's building bricks because I don't have any blocks. And also possibly a strap or a scarf or something that you can put around your legs to help with a few forward folds. So again, I'm using a skipping rope because I don't have a proper strap. But yeah, anything like a scarf or something that you can put around your feet would work. As always, if you enjoyed today's class, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, maybe share it with your friends, give me a follow on Instagram, connect with me on Facebook, and do leave me some comments. I do want to hear your thoughts on the classes. And otherwise, I hope you enjoy today's session. Let's begin. So we're going to begin seated in a cross-legged posture, Sukhasana. So come onto your mat, move your cat out of the way, and then cross one shin over the other and let your knees relax down. So if your knees don't relax down, if you're finding it difficult to balance, use a block or a pillow or a blanket or something that you can pop underneath your sit bones to sit up, and you will notice that your hips will tilt forwards because you're now sat up, and that should help you with sitting up nice and tall and releasing the knees down. So it doesn't matter which leg you've got crossed over which. Take a moment here, try and lengthen your spine up, relax your shoulders back and down, tuck your chin but keep your neck nice and relaxed, nice and long. Just pretend like someone's pulling you up with a string from the crown of your head. I'm just going to remove this block. And just close your eyes for a moment. Relax your hands on your knees and take a deep breath in. Just notice how you're feeling in this pose today. Try and keep your mind in a present moment, so try not to let it wander. Try and focus on how your body is feeling in this particular moment in time. Take another deep breath in and exhale. And we're going to begin today's practice with a few gentle neck rolls. So on an inhale, just drop your chin gently towards the chest, and then exhale, start rolling your neck all the way around. I've gone to my right first, but it doesn't matter which way you go. Nice and gentle, and then all the way back to center. Take a breath in, and on an exhale, start rolling it all the way around the opposite way. So if for any reason it feels uncomfortable to go all the way around, you can also do little semicircles. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, going one way, and back to center. And then roll your neck all the way around or halfway around the opposite direction. And as always, my cats are going mental. And then come back to neutral, take an inhale, and on an exhale, just gently look over your right shoulder. Just move your neck to the right, just until the point where you feel a good stretch on the left-hand side, but the stretch feels comfortable and not painful. And then come back to center, take an inhale, and on an exhale, look over your left shoulder. Inhale, come back to center. One more time. Exhale, look over your right shoulder. Back to center, and then over your left shoulder. And back to center. So keeping your hands on your knees, on an inhale, lift your shoulders up, and on an exhale, roll them back down. One more time, lift your shoulders up, and exhale, roll them back down. One more time, inhale up, and exhale, roll them back down. And then place your fingertips by your hips. On an inhale, relax your shoulders back and down, lift your chest forwards and look up, so arching the spine. And then on an exhale, bring your hands to your knees, round the back, bring your chin towards your chest and look down. Feel the stretch in between your shoulder blades here. Inhale, come back into a neutral spine. And let's just change the cross of the legs unless it doesn't feel comfortable. And then place your fingertips in front of you, take a breath in, and on an exhale, start walking your fingertips forward. So you should feel a really nice stretch in your hips as well as the lower back. Just go as far as feels good for you. You can place a block in front of you if you want to drop your forehead down onto the block. Otherwise, with each inhalation, try and lengthen your spine and look forwards. And on an exhale, maybe go a little bit deeper. Try and keep your toes fairly flexed to kind of protect the knees. And yeah, just go as far as feels comfortable. Take a couple of breaths in this forward fold. And then walk your fingertips back. And we're going to uncross the legs and straighten them directly in front of you. We're coming in a pose called Dandasana. So your legs are straight in front of you. You can roll the flesh away from your sit bones. And again, same as with the easy cross-legged posture, if you're finding it a bit challenging to sit with your legs straight and your back nice and straight, you can either keep a little bend in the knees, or you can also use a block and once again prop yourself up onto a block, and that should hopefully help with tilting the hips forwards and helping you stay up, lifting up. Otherwise, place your hands by your hips. So your legs are straight, but do keep a tiny little micro bend in the knees. We don't want to lock the knees. You can have your toes kind of flexing towards you, but again, just be mindful it's not hurting anywhere in your knees, so you can just kind of relax them. But we want the feet to be, and the legs to be engaged, so they're not just there doing nothing. We want the thighs to be active, the toes to be active, hands by your sides, so roughly where your hips are. And then pull yourself up, so we're straightening the spine. So pretend like you're sat against a straight wall, and then make sure your shoulders are not lifting, so they relax them back and down. Your neck is nice and long, and you can gaze directly in front of you. And if you wanted to make sure that your legs are nice and active, you can even lift your heels off the floor for a breath or two. Just make sure you're activating the thighs here. So let's take another breath here, engaging your core muscles to support you as well. So tuck your belly in, and it looks like a very easy pose, but if you sit in this pose for a few breaths, you actually notice that it's quite a challenging one to hold, especially when your cat is rubbing himself against your leg. Okay, from here, release your heels back down onto the floor. And we're going to do a forward fold. So in the forward fold, the goal is to keep the back nice and long. So we're not going to round the spine to reach the forehead towards the knees or the legs. We're going to pretend like the forehead is going towards the toes. So when you're rounding your back, you're actually stretching the sciatica nerve, which is not what we want to do. We're trying to lengthen the spine forwards. So there's a few ways you can come into a forward fold. You can keep the knees bent to start with, and then lower your chest over your thighs and have your hands to your legs somewhere, maybe grab hold of your feet and then gently start straightening the legs. Or you can have the legs straight, lift your arms up and then fold forwards as far as feels comfortable. If you've got a strap, you can also have your strap wrapped around the legs, and the cat's going to start playing with it in a minute. And then inhale, lengthen your spine, and on an exhale, using the strap, fold forwards. So go as far as feels comfortable for the lower back, the back of the legs, the knees. Shoulders are nice and relaxed, and don't forget to breathe. So again, with each inhalation, lengthen the spine and look forwards. And on an exhale, fold forward. So we're trying to tilt from the hips here. So if you are sitting on the block, that might just help with the hip flexion here. Let's stay here for a couple of breaths. You might be able to go a little bit deeper on each exhalation, but it doesn't matter where you're at. The longer you practice, the more you do this, the more flexible you'll get. So just be patient. Flexibility will come with time. Of course, if you can lower all the way down, you're more than welcome to bring your forehead down onto your legs. You can even grab hold of your big toes, wherever you want to go, whatever works for you today. One more deep breath here. And then exhale, release and come up. Keeping the left leg straight, bend the right knee, bring your right knee towards your chest, and then bring your right foot into your left thigh, opening the right knee out to the side. So again, if you need to just move around a bit, maybe move the flesh away from your sit bones. You could sit on a block again here. We're going to do a forward fold. So your right knee could be lifting. It doesn't have to reach the floor. Again, that will come with time. If it doesn't feel particularly comfortable, you can pop a couple of blocks underneath for support. Try and square your hips towards the front edge of the mat. And then take an inhale, and on an exhale, fold forward. So again, you're welcome to use a strap here. Same principle as with the forward fold that we just did. Back is nice and long, and then on an exhale, we're folding forwards just as far as feels comfortable for the hip, the lower back, and the back of your leg and the knee. So we're going to hold this for a couple of breaths. With each inhalation, lengthen, and on an exhale, maybe fold a little bit deeper. You can grab hold of your foot, or maybe just keep holding of the strap. You could have your hands to the floor, you can have your hands to your thigh and just sit here and wait for it to happen. It might take, days or weeks for you to be able to fold forwards. You just need to be patient with this and don't force it. You won't be doing your body any favors. Wherever you are, let's take another deep breath in. And then exhale, release and come up. And we'll do the same on the other leg. So straighten the right leg and then bend your left knee. Bring your knee towards your chest. Left foot into your right thigh. And then open it out to the side. So you'll see that my left knee is lifting here. I'm not as flexible on my left hip as I am on my right, but it doesn't feel uncomfortable, so I'm not going to put any blocks underneath. But like I said, you're more than welcome to use a block, a couple of blocks or a pillow or whatever you need to support you. So again, just try and gently square your hips towards the short edge of the mat. Use the strap if you need to. Take an inhale, lengthen the spine, and on an exhale, start folding forwards. And you can even use your fingertips to just gently creep forwards, or just stay upright here, or maybe you feel quite flexible today and you can fold all the way, grabbing hold of your foot or the strap or wherever. So just remember to take deep breaths here. Feel the stretch in the lower back, the back of your leg. Might feel it in your left hip here as well. Couple more breaths. And then when you're ready, come back up. Straighten the left leg. You might want to give your legs a bit of a shake. Marichi's pose. So again, have your left leg straight, bend the right knee, and then bring your foot sort of as close to your body as feels comfortable, and leave about I'd say a couple of inches between your left leg and your right foot. So toes are pointing forwards. So in this pose, we're going to take a twist to the right. You can place your left hand to your right knee, right fingertips behind you. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and on an exhale, take a twist to the right. So you can stay up on your fingertips, maybe place your hand flat to the mat. If you want to deepen this twist a little bit more, you can inhale and lift your left arm up, and then on an exhale, hook the left elbow over the right knee and help yourself with the elbow to just twist a little bit further to the right. So gazing to the back of the room towards the right shoulder. And one thing to notice is that you're not rolling on the inner side of your left leg staying nice and active. So make sure it's just not there doing nothing. Your thigh muscles are working, your toes don't have to be totally flexed, but make sure your foot's, engaged. One more deep breath here, and then exhale, release. And we're just going to do a quick hip stretch before we do the same poses on the other side. So place your right foot over the area just above your left knee, so don't put any pressure on the knee. Keep your right toes nice and flexed, and then use your right hand to just gently press down on the right knee, so your right shin's kind of parallel with the front edge of the mat. So this is your kind of level 1. You might feel a good stretch in your right hip here already. If you wanted to go a little bit deeper, start bending the left knee and bring your left heel towards your body. Now, depending on your flexibility, you might be able to bring your foot quite close to your body, or you might just stay, fairly far. So the closer you bring your heel towards you, the more stretch you should feel in your right hip. Just experiment here. Take your time, take a couple of breaths. Maybe again with each exhale, you can just bring your foot a little bit closer. Just try and make sure your right toes are flexing. We're trying to protect the right knee here. And if it feels comfortable, you can even sort of cradle your right leg in your arms here like I'm doing, and just breathe. So a few more deep breaths. Focus your attention on that right hip area. Inhale, and with an exhale, release the tension. Feel the hip opening up. And then when you're ready, release, stretch the right leg, and we'll do the same on the other side. So keeping your right leg straight, bend the left knee, bring your left foot towards you, keeping a gap of a couple of inches between your right leg and your foot. Taking a twist to the left, so right hand to your left knee, left fingertips behind you. Inhale, really lengthen your spine, and exhale, take a twist to the left. And again, you can stay in this variation, or maybe inhale, lengthen your right arm up, and then exhale, hook your right elbow over your left knee, just to help you twist a little bit further. Deep breathing. One more inhale, and on an exhale, come back. Bring your left foot over the area just above your right knee, keeping the left toes flexed. Use your left hand to just gently press on that left knee. I feel a lot tighter on this side. So I'm just going to hang here for a moment. You don't have to stay still. You can sort of move, lean onto that left knee with your hand. Just do whatever feels comfortable for the left hip, and stay here for a few more breaths and wait for the hip to open up. Or if you feel like you need to go a little bit deeper, start bending the right knee and bringing your right foot sort of as close to the body as feels comfortable. And again, just try and focus your attention on the area we're trying to stretch. Deep breath, and with an exhale, see if you can release the tension, feel the hip opening up. One more breath. And exhale, release, straighten the legs, and then again give your legs maybe a bit of a shake. And while we're here, we're going to do a bit of a core and a thigh strengthener, boat pose. So bend your knees and bring the soles of your feet down onto the floor. You can have your hands underneath your knees to start with for support. And then see if you can start leaning back just until you feel the core muscles activating. So it doesn't have to be too far, just about sort of 45 degrees. We're trying to keep the back nice and long, but a little tilt in the hips is fine. So engage the core muscles. So you should feel sort of your belly kind of starting to shake a little bit. This is where we want to stop. So our core muscles are engaged. And then see if you can maybe lift one foot off the floor, hold, and then lower it down and switch sides, the other foot off the floor and hold. And you can continue doing this for a few more breaths if you find that this is enough for you today. Or maybe you can lift both feet off the floor, keeping the knees bent. You can have your hands under your knees, or you can release your arms. So your arms are by your sides, and I can really feel it in my core muscles now, and hold. If you're feeling super strong, maybe you can straighten the legs and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release. Really good exercise for the core. So do repeat this a few times if you've got the time. From here we're going to come into bound angle pose. So bring the soles of your feet together and then let your knees fall out to the side. So again, you might need to adjust yourself. You can prop yourself on the block again. Bring your heels just as close to your body as feels comfortable. And then you can have your hands to your feet. You can wrap them over your toes. And then sit here with a nice tall spine and just feel the inner thighs opening. If you wanted to, you can start folding forwards. So I quite like to use my elbows here as I'm folding forwards to kind of push onto the knees to really help with the inner thigh stretch. And you will start feeling it in your lower back here as well. You don't have to go very far, just as far as feels good for your body. In whichever variation you are, let's take another breath. And then exhale, release and come up. And then spread your feet and your legs nice and wide. So again, as wide as feels comfortable. Once again, a block could be used here if you're finding it challenging to sit up. So to start with, have your fingertips behind you and roll your shoulders back and just sit here with a nice straight spine. So your feet are engaged, your toes are kind of flexing up or towards you. And just see how this feels for you today. If you are struggling, it would be a good idea to sit on something. You will definitely feel the difference. If you think that you can maintain this nice straight spine in this position, see if you can move your hands in front of you. However, if this means that you're starting to kind of collapse forwards, it's better to have your hands behind and just work on your strength and flexibility here. Again, it will come with time. If you can kind of maintain this nice long spine with your hands in front of you, see if you can inhale and on an exhale start folding forwards. Again, it doesn't have to be very far. You can use your blocks to put in front of you to lower your forehead down onto the blocks if you wanted to, or just kind of play around with it walk your hands, your fingertips forwards until you feel a good stretch in the inner thighs, the back of your legs, the lower back is getting a good stretch here. Be mindful you're not overdoing it, so just go as far as feels comfortable for you today. Of course, if you can lower your forehead down onto the floor or the blocks, you're more than welcome to. I am staying kind of up on my elbows today, and the aim again is to have the back, the spine nice and long, so we're not trying to round the spine to reach the floor, we're trying to lengthen forwards. So wherever you are, a couple more deep breaths. On your next exhale, walk your fingertips back towards you. I really felt this in the whole of my back actually, the lower back and the middle back, so really good stretch there. Another thing to mention, that if you want to keep your knees slightly bent in this forward fold, you can do, and you can even pop the blocks underneath the knees. So if you struggled with your legs straight, you can try this variation as well. Have your left leg stretching out to the side, bend your right knee and bring your right foot into your left thigh. Okay, and then place the left hand onto your right knee. So you should feel a bit of a twist here. Engage the core muscles, so stabilize yourself. Inhale, lift your right arm up. And on an exhale, take a side bend to the left. So we're not going very far. You don't have to grab hold of your toes. You can do if you want to. We're trying to keep the shoulder in line with the hip. And just really feel this twist and stretch in the right side of the body. You can gaze up towards the fingertips or keep gazing down, whatever works for you. Deep breath in. And then release, and we'll switch sides. So stretch the right leg out to the side. Bend the left knee, bring your left knee into your right thigh. Place your right hand over your left knee. Inhale, lift your left arm up. And on an exhale, side bend to the right. A prop can be used here to put underneath the knee if you need to. Deep breathing. And then exhale. Release, and just straighten your legs, give your legs a bit of a shake, one last shake. And I think from here we're just going to lie down onto the mat into our final relaxation pose, Savasana. So try and lower down with control, and then straighten your legs, let your feet fall out. Have your arms by your sides, palms facing up. Close your eyes and just take a few breaths here. Just notice how you're feeling after today's practice. Maybe note what poses you found challenging, what you need to work on, what you enjoyed, what you didn't, and do let me know in comments. And work your way up from your toes to the crown of your head. Make sure you're not tensing any part of the body. If you're finding tension in any particular part, see if you can focus your attention on that area. Inhale, and with an exhale, release the tension. Or try and release the tension. And try and keep the mind at present moment. Try not to let it wander just yet. You can return to the natural rhythm of your breaths. Just try and relax everything in your body. And as always, please stay down in Savasana for as long as you've got the time, a few more minutes at least if you've got the time, and then when you're ready, roll onto your side and come back into a seated position. and thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the class. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you on lesson 7. Namaste.